Love is the foundation of all actions. This week, we will be talking about how to understand our actions and desires based on the foundational and most powerful emotion of love. We will also complete the picture by discussing how love is impacted by sound or weak intellect, knowledge, and desires. We have been discussing in the last two episodes the concept that one does not leave what one likes and loves. So he'll always stick to it. The only way for him to leave that is that he leaves it and gives it up because of something that he likes much more. Or on the other hand, he would not do something he dislikes, except that he does it to attain something that he loves much more, or to avoid something that he dislikes much more. The quality of intellect, the sound understanding is what helps one to prefer the more beloved and the more desired over less beloved and less desired, and the less disliked over more disliked. And this is from the perfection of love and hate. Alright, so now if someone is not doing that, then this is because of one of the following two deficiencies. A, lack of understanding. He does not understand and perceive what should be more beloved to him and what's more beneficial and what's more harmful. So he does not have the right choice and the right preference. Or he lacks courage of heart, the boldness to take the action, lack of willpower, self-esteem, and confidence. There are people in whom their desires for quick gratification is much more powerful than their faith, than their iman and intellect. And there are people in which the situation is opposite. How many physically sick people continue eating, drinking, and consuming what the doctors clearly advise them as being harmful to them? That's the same reason they lack that willpower. They have the understanding that this is harmful, but they lack the willpower, they lack the patience. Or they're not fully comprehending the harmful effects. So the foundations of goodness and well-being is correct understanding, comprehension, knowing the good from bad, knowing the better from the good, the worse from the bad, and then having high ambitions, willpower, and patience to do it, patience to pursue it. And the essence and foundation of evil, sadness, wretchedness, humility is the opposite of that. The essence of every action is love and will, and hatred and dislike is the essence of not taking actions. So this is how we make our choices. And this way of choosing, making the choices, is common between animals and humans. The error that many make is to pursue and choose that which will give you the instant gratification, but that would only last for a very short time and give up the long-term benefit. And this is something we can see when animals are hunted, how they're offered something that would appear to give them quick gratification, but compromise their life or freedom. As we reflect and ponder on what people are after, they're all in general after happiness and content, and to remove sadness, grief, and anxiety. Now, some do this by eating, drinking, education, business, trade, marriage, having kids, music, playing, amusement, and so on. These are all ways with some success, but ultimate eternal success is the path to the Creator. Submitting to Him, trusting Him, loving Him, and making His preferences and orders our preferred way, and submitting to them as we discussed in the last episode. Now, if you look at the Kalima of Taheed, which we say, La ilaha illallah, that there's no deity worthy of worship. The ruh, the essence, the soul of that is to single out the Rabb, the Lord, the Creator, the Owner, the one who controls all affairs, the one who dictates all affairs, the one who's in charge of all affairs, the one who plans all affairs, the one who provides for sustenance, is to single him out when it comes to the love, when it comes to the respect, the honoring, when it comes to the fear, when it comes to the hope, right? And these things then lead to trusting in Him, depending in Him, repenting to Him, longing for Him, having fear of Him, and not to love anybody other than Him, except that love of someone else leads to the love of Allah, or leads in increasing the love of Allah, and so on and so forth, right? So that's the whole essence of it, right? That one only repents to him, the one makes obedience to him the priority, the one obeys him completely and in all situations, right? The one seeks his help first and foremost and does not seek help in idols or the dead and so on and so forth, and does not prostrate to somebody else and does not sacrifice for somebody else and so on and so forth. And that is the essence of Tawheed, and to give its full haqq, full rights, right? As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, praising the people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ma'arij, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِشَهَادَاتِهِمْ قَائِمُونَ. And these are the people that upon their testimonies, they are firmly standing, right? So this is giving the haqq, the right of the shahada. Now, for the people who do that, they are the one who will taste a goodly life in this dunya as well as in the hereafter, right? So their paradise of this dunya is the sweetness and beauty of worship. They enjoy the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They actually enjoy fasting, praying, doing things for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't take it as a physical burden. They're actually enjoying it. And then in the hereafter, they are blessed with the Jannah and the goodly life in the Jannah. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا مِنْ ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. Whoever does good deeds, whether it be a male or a female, and he's a believer, Allah will give him a goodly life. Allah will definitely give him a goodly life. So the one who is not feeling that sweetness, the one who is not enjoying that sweetness, now they're in one of these two situations. One is they may have some of these indicators, something calling them from inside, from their soul, and showing them that there's some sort of emptiness in their life. And they can feel something is missing. Their heart, their fitra is giving them signal. But now what would happen is either they don't have the knowledge of how to pursue the Creator, or they don't have the courage and the tawfiq and the facilitation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or the other type of people are the ones who are busy and drowning in the love of dunya and what the dunya has. So they may be busy chasing and enjoying fame, wealth, men or women, and so on. Similar to someone who is fully intoxicated, that he may see his home, his car burning down, but would not be aware of the loss because he's intoxicated. So even if he's missing out, he does not realize that loss until he wakes up, until he sobers. And for some people, this awakening, this sobering happens at a very late time when nothing can be done, and that is at the time when they are facing death. Love has its consequences: feeling and taste and sweetness, excitement, desire, separation from the one being loved, being away from him, longing for him, missing the beloved, crying, exerting efforts, and so on. One may go from joy and pleasure to crying and sadness and back and forth. These are all part of love and the whole package of love. But love can be beneficial and praiseworthy, and harmful and blameworthy. Right? So either your love is praiseworthy and it's going to be beneficial for you, or it's harmful for you and it's blameworthy. So the one who would choose the love of one that is harmful and blameworthy, the reason for that is either the person is ignorant of the harmful effects of that love. So one is not realizing how the love for someone or something is harmful for them, right? Or they're trying to meet instant gratification or false promises. They're following their desires. Now, how to fight that is with proper knowledge and patience. Patience upon not following sinful and harmful desires. So with the beneficial love, all the painful emotions, anything that you suffer, all the efforts that you exert, all the pain, all the crying, all the longing, all becomes beneficial. So action points from today's episode is to check what is our true desires. What are we after? What do we think most of the time? What do we think about during our prayers, our meetings with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What makes us disobey Allah? Whose love, whose pleasure, whose comfort? What are we seeking when we disobey Allah? Are we following any false promises? The way to bring this change is to have consistent, authentic knowledge and consistent reminders, and to plan our actions and to be patient on pursuing them, and to do check-ins, our own accountability to see the failure and success rates for our plans. Or having a coach, an accountability partner. So when you're having a coach or an accountability partner, let's say you have a bad habit or a sinful habit, you don't have to necessarily disclose that. You can make it an anonymized habit, and it could be like, did I do that or not? And then dig in with the coach on what causes you to go for those sinful actions, and so on and so forth. Associating short-term penalty with bad behavior, right? A lot of time when we do the bad behavior or a sin, we don't realize that the cost of it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very forgiving and He does not make us accountable right away. He does not punish us right away. So sometimes we do not realize the penalty that we have. So you can have short-term penalty, and such as that if I do such and such thing, I would give such and such amount in charity, or I would fast, or I would volunteer a certain number of hours. Do something that will deter the bad behavior. Lastly, but most importantly, do not forget the power of dua.